Don't forget your card.
My card is here.
We got cards. Is your card bigger than mine?
No, they're the same size.
That would be funny.
If I just had a comically large card,
Yeah.
Next year.
Next
Save
year.
that for next year.
Yeah.
That's foreshadowing.
New budget, you know.
Mm.
Meet the new budget. Same as the old budget. $0. Are we better people than what we were last December / January?
So let me think about that. I would say no.
No. We have a new office.
We have a new office. We have a new set location, which is a part of our office. No, I think 2024 just reaffirmed all of my bad habits.
Yeah.
And I really got to kick them.
What's the worst? What are you going to kick? Worst habit?
My worst habit that I would kick. Well, I'm not going to kick any of them. You know what?
Keep them.
It's a new year. I'm keeping all my bad habits. That's my New Year's resolution.
To not change at all.
Yes. First time I'll actually finish.
Congratulations.
Yeah. What about you? Bad habits? Good habits?
A good habit I should get rid of.
Yeah.
Being so darn nice, you know?
Yeah, you do need to kick that.
I'm too nice.
We are literally a yin and yang in here type situation.
Yeah.
I'm not nice at all.
You're not nice.
In fact, I'm nice.
You've created a real aura of mean,
and I like it.
And I respect it too.
Because people know, not to get into the weeds too much.
Yeah.
We're already here though. People know that what my answer usually is going to be.
Yeah.
And then they don't come to me and then don't do that thing.
Yeah.
And it works out.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
not always, but
yeah. Good for you though. Yeah.
Well, not really. What? Who cares?
Who cares?
We're talking about movies. Not talking about me and my habits. What we're going to do, we got 2 separate top 10s if you have never watched any of ours. We're going to go over a couple of movies that are on our list. Yeah. Siskel and Ebert style.
Okay.
And at the end, we'll reveal our lists, but we also have an 11th pick.
Yeah.
Now, this has been anything from podcast to video games to
movie scenes.
Yeah. And this one, last year we called it the Craig O'Neill something or another.
Mm-hmm.
This year, this one is the Zach Keast In Memoriam. Mm-hmm. He's not dead, but we figured we'd continue
a joke.
We love
a funny bit, you know?
But I'll get us kicked off.
Okay.
And I did not even think about what I would... Well, you know, this one is in my brain because I just watched it.
Okay.
Exclusively, Arkansas was finally a part of a premiere.
Yeah.
The Brutalist.
Yeah.
I got to see it.
Exciting. That's
part of our Arkansas Cinema Society. The day it got released in New York and LA. So that's pretty insane. Yeah. It is exactly as sold.
Yeah.
People are hyping it up as like it's this 3.5-hour epic saga about America and living in America and being an immigrant and dealing with unscrupulous characters of America. Because, you know, look, some people may say we're one of the greatest nations of all time, but that doesn't mean we don't have bad people.
Yeah.
We have plenty of bad people.
Oh, yeah.
And the director, Brady Corbett, I think that's his name.
Yep.
I just listened to him talk about how he wanted a movie in the 50s because it was post-World War II, so a lot of people dealing with the trauma of that, but also no one really talked about like sexuality or just like the things the struggles they're facing. You just popped out babies and kept working.
Yep.
And so it's a part of a commentary on that and a reflection of 2024, where there is this contingent of people that are trying to silence people talking about their sexuality. Overall, it's more about what is like the American dream, and what is that lie that's been sold a little bit, and the performances in it are just insane. I was telling someone earlier, Felicity Jones.
Yeah.
She should be nominated.
We got worried about her for a second, but she's
back.
Yeah.
This is her best performance ever.
Yeah.
I would say. Adrian Brody is of course great. Guy Pearce is great.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Joe Alwyn. Alwyn is a surprise in this.
Really.
I was not expecting him to be in my like categories of like best performances of the year.
Well, when you hang out with like Paul Mescal and Andrew Scott and a couple of those guys, like some good acting has to rub off eventually, right?
The intermission it works out great. The way they did the intermission, because I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's just perfect.
Yeah.
And it gives you 15 minutes to just walk around the theater really quick. Oh,
well, I wish we had more of those, you know, but.
Yeah. Killers of the Flower Moon probably would have helped with the intermission because there are certain spots, but I understand why they didn't do it.
I just think we need to, I don't know what we're so scared of. You know, it's like you don't go straight to dessert. You take a minute, you know.
Well, sometimes I go straight to dessert.
Well, sometimes you start with dessert.
Sometimes I do start with dessert.
Crazy.
That's a bad habit.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
You know, I want to talk about my number 9, which is Didi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is a movie about, if you haven't seen it, Didi follows a 14, 15-year-old boy, Asian American, born to, I believe, immigrant parents. But his dad is out of the country working. His mom is taking care of him and his grandmother and his sister, who's about to go away to college. It takes place in 2008.
Okay.
So it really hits that nostalgia.
The apex of the internet.
I mean, like, MySpace is a big part of this. Mm-hmm. There were moments in this where you're like, oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. Yeah. But you're like, I've been through it, and you feel for him. And I think I wrote this shout out to my letterbox to just plug that there. It's right here. I'll make Michael put it in.
I'm gonna do that in the worst way possible.
Good, awesome. Right over my face. I love movies that kind of allow us to see someone else's experience, but then realize that, like, we all kind of they're universal experiences. The things that separate us aren't as big as the things that connect us. So, like, we all have, you know, parents who embarrass us. We've all been in an awkward situation when we're teenagers, and we just want to redo that moment over and over again. We've all tried to impress people and gotten out of our depth, you know, to do so. And so it's quiet, and it's just nice. It wasn't like just too much. It wasn't like ham-fisted to be like, look at all this nostalgia. It really kind of, it's a nice nostalgia movie that it's like, you remember how dumb this all was? Yeah. Instead of being like, hey, remember how, like, great this was? It really is like, weren't we embarrassing? And it's just nice. It's really great. The actors are great.
That decade has not aged well.
Oh, it has not. Like, it is just even like his friends. Yeah. That the way they talk, the jokes they make. Like, you're like, it just really. It was a moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it hurts. So
that's how mid-90s felt too.
Yeah, but it's really good. So check it out.
Well, I'm gonna go out of left field. I'm gonna go to my number 10 and talk about My Old Ass.
Okay.
Aubrey Plaza. It's a coming of age. Yeah. Teenage rom-com, but the twist is that she meets her old self, who was played by Aubrey Plaza, after they take mushrooms. I think she's about to go away to college, and she doesn't know if she's bi or straight or gay, and so she's going through this sort of life crisis that we all do around 18 or 19, where we don't really know who we are. Yeah. Similar ways to Didi, and I just think it's one of those rom-coms that lives up to the genre it's trying to maintain. It feels like the old 90s rom-coms, but at the same time being its own thing, dealing with the talking to your old self. But the way it ends, I think the reason it made my top 10 over like other movies I gave the similar rating, the ending of the movie, I think, sells the whole story of meeting your old ass. Yeah. In that, you know, there are these regrets that you have, and obviously you want to change them. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you wouldn't be who you are now without having made those mistakes. And so, you know, I really resonate with that. Not to go into more life story, but it's like...
No, and I think, too, there's like a lot like Didi. It's like, again, we are not teenage girls. And
we're not.
But we've, you know, like, there's a whole, like, thing in this movie about, like, being sad about losing something that you did you really even appreciate it in the first place with her family, and you're like, or even connecting with your siblings, like you really do, like, it hits you, and you're like, man, like, not even just so much the love part of it, but like this idea that, like, man, has she really just been coasting through life and not really appreciating what's right in front of her, and her getting that chance to make that right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because someone told her, you know, and it's really interesting because it's like, for a movie that very much ends on a note of like, no, these things happen and they make us who we are. Yeah. It also does get to have like its cake and eat it too, where she does get to change and be better and have a stronger relationship with her family. It's really good. We just gotta talk about Civil War. I feel a movie that
has aged incredibly well in one year, but also knowing that warfare is coming out, maybe has aged a little bit differently again. So,
and it's just a movie that like I remember not being sold, not really understanding what it's gonna be, and then you watch it and you realize it's really more about like journalism and the press and kind of being an observer and documenting things. It's got like the whole like we're in a civil war and the president is like kind of more of a king and all that, but really it just I don't know, it just like sits in the back of your head. It's not like a movie that like it's not Dune 2 where you're like, wow, what it just like that this part was cool and that part was great.
And it's also not overtly telling you something. Even in Dune 2, you get an overt like monologue where it's like this is the exact whole point of the series. Whereas in Civil War, it's like you really have to have introspect in yourself. Not all of us are journalists. People that watch this movie, we are, fortunately. So we get that internal battle of like, what's my personal ethos versus my job as a journalist to find the truth regardless of my internal bias.
Just continues to sit with me and I think about a lot. Just like random parts or just the Kaylee Spaney character. And just I cannot think of his name, but the actor who plays the guy who's driving. Like he is fantastic. I think like he deserves like a supporting actor nominee. He'll never get it, but like
the scene where they come across Jesse Plemons. Not to spoil it too much, but he deals with it in a great way. Because it's clear, like Jesse Plemons is off his rocker. And they have to navigate through the way he's talking to them. They have to sort of emulate him in a way. And then obviously the way it ends is
it's like I don't know why, honestly. There are movies on my list and probably on your list that I'm like, I just don't understand where the conversation went sideways about that. Like, not like in a bad way, but that like, it's crazy that, the Civil War is probably on everyone's top 10, like every major publication's top 10 list.
Or at least top 20,
but like, why are we not talking about it like we talk about, like, The Substance is a goofy movie and I love it, it's on my list. But like, I feel like everyone's talking about The Substance, but we're not talking about like Civil War like that.
In 20 years, someone will do a retrospective on Civil War, and then we'll finally know what people feel about it. Because it's like, you never really know until a movie has gotten to a certain age. Like, I watched After Hours for the first time this year, and it's like, I finally went back and read everything about it, and now to know what people feel. So I'd be interested to see how people feel about Civil War in a couple years. And now, let's get into our Zach Keast in memoriam. He's not dead, just saying he has a bit. But this, I'm going to make us do it really quick. I'm taking it from our micro movie reviews. 5 words or fewer. First, you'll state what the thing is. And then 5 words or fewer, try to sell it to the audience. And I'll go first, just to make it a little easier. Mine is a short film released on YouTube by Connor O'Malley.
Oh, yeah. I've been meaning to watch this one.
Called Corey's.
Oh, I thought you were going Rap World.
No, Rap World's in my top 10.
Oh.
Because it's technically a feature.
But that's true.
Corey's, in 5 words or fewer, I'm going to say, just Corey. Just Corey.
Is that so 4? Just Corey, just Corey?
Yes.
Okay. Mine is, I think I've talked about this once in here, but it's a movie called Snack Shack. And 5 words, it would be like, okay, I got it. The best. No, sorry, hang on. Let me say. Best teen film in years.
In years? Wow.
Yeah.
Oof. It's lofty since I put one in my top 10. My old ass.
Oh, yeah, but no, I'm saying this is more of like a, hey, we're up to hijinks. Gotcha. We're just 2 guys who are scheming.
More Sandlot versus...
More like, it's less like 16 Candles, more like, it is not in no way like American Pie, but in that same like, it's a summer teen comedy, you know?
All right, let's get to our number ones.
Okay.
I know you were just dogging it a second ago, but my number one is The Substance.
No, listen, my number 5 is The Substance. So I'm like, yeah.
Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself?
100% my type of movie. People hate the ending. I love the ending.
Like, what do you mean hate
I've
the
read
ending?
recent reviews where people are like, the ending just comes out of nowhere. It makes no sense. I'm like, how are you supposed to end a movie where you're taking a drug that makes you a clone of yourself that is younger?
Yeah.
How do you expect that to end?
I do. I will say I love the ending. I think the ending's great.
Yeah.
I did fast forward through most of it.
You did.
Just because after a while I was like, I'm really okay.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And if you haven't seen it, yes, it is gross.
Yeah.
It is grotesque. There is body horror, but it is much more funny than you think it is.
Yeah.
And the performance by Demi Moore, you know, I've been a Demi Moore stan since the 90s.
Yeah.
And I think she's been treated unfairly.
True.
By the media, by everybody. I think she needs to get back into the movies. I know she took some time off, to raise kids, obviously, because you have to focus on the kids first. And she only did like movies here and there. You know, the Michael Keaton aspect. You just take some movies now and again, keep the paychecks rolling in. Demi, get back out there. Make some amazing movies, but also not to like Margaret Qualley does an amazing job too.
She is so good too. Yeah.
Dennis Quaid not as in it as much as you think.
No, really not.
But the shots of him eating are just
his whole
that is the grossest part to me.
Yeah, every shot of him is like shot in a fisheye lens, and it is. I do not like it.
I do not like it.
It's really this movie is really great, and it's
really funny. And it says a lot about our current society and the culture we live in. So.
And if I could just have the voiceover guy, the guy who's on the phone, just narrate everything, that would be great. My number one, and listen, I know this is not a movie that a lot of people have seen. I'm shocked, honestly. I heard someone talk about it on a podcast, and I was like, that just sounds really interesting the way they describe it, so I want to watch it. This is a movie called Red Rooms. Yeah. It's got a French name. I cannot tell you what it is. I think it's Red Rooms in French. It is a movie. Yeah, it is a movie about, if you don't know what it is about a model who becomes obsessed with the trial of a serial killer. It is just a wild movie. Yeah. It is. There's just so much, like, there's a whole, like, I tell people it feels like I was watching something that I was not supposed to be watching. Like, that is almost illegal to watch. Because, like, you're watching this courtroom scene play out, and it is, like, shot in one shot, the opening arguments, and for a moment you're like, I'm watching a real court case. And there are other times where you're watching the videos of the Red Rooms, and then there is the most chilling 30 seconds of a movie that, like, just goosebumps. Had to, like, the most nightmare-inducing part of the movie. It's just really good. It's in French, so if don't let that deter you. It's really easy to understand and, like, follow kind of what's going on. And then it's just wild. It is a great companion piece to Longlegs as well. Mm-hmm. These, like, two movies that are like, hey, you guys are weird for loving this stuff. Like, it is, you're weirdos, and you should not glorify any of these people. And it's just really interesting. It is, and you don't know kind of where it's going. Yeah. And by the end, you're like, do I respect this person, or do I still, like, not respect it? Is it, you still don't fully understand what the motives were, but it's really good. Yeah. True crime is weird. Yeah. Because we are all fascinated with death, because we all deal with it, obviously, but also the unfortunate side of humanity is we have just a fascination with killers. Yeah. And I don't know whether it's good or bad. Yeah. There are obviously Longlegs and now Red Rooms make the case that it's bad to be so obsessed with it. But then there are other cases where, like, some people are obsessed to find an answer. And that's what Red Rooms really does hit that. It's like, are you obsessing over the person, or are you obsessing to solve the crime? And are either of those a good thing? Yeah. Can you defend it? Or, like, okay, you're defending a human life, but, like, why are you defending that person's life? Like, is someone so evil that, like, there's no turn? It's just really interesting. And all right, let's do our top 10. I'll go first. Okay. Got number 10, My Old Ass. Number 9, Civil War. Number 8, Furiosa. shout out.
Should have talked about it, but
Yeah.
you know, everyone else
I'm
is
glad to
already
see
talking.
it's on someone's
Yeah.
list. Yeah.
Everyone else is already talking about
Yeah.
it. 7, Love Lies Bleeding. 6, The Brutalist. Number 5, Rebel Ridge. Number 4, I Saw the TV Glow. Number 3, Rap World. Guys, check it out.
Yep.
Check it out. It's on YouTube. 2, Dune 2. And number 1, The Substance.
Good list. Solid list. A lot of movies that are just outside of my top 10. That you're just like, oh, like I Saw the TV Glow was legit number 11.
Yeah.
So at number 10, I've got The Wild Robot, a movie, gosh, that will just destroy you.
Yeah.
Go check it out. It's really great. And should probably win Best Animated Feature. Then number 9 is Didi. 8, Challengers, which the history books will come back and they will get on to all of us for the way that we obsess over Challengers and then just dropped it around Oscar time. Number 7, Anora, the movie that will probably win Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
We can probably just call it right
Close. I mean, I don't know.
now. It could be close, but maybe The Brutalist.
Maybe.
But yeah, Anora, really great. 6 is Kneecap. 5, The Substance. See, I had it on there. 4, Sing Sing. Number 3, Dune 2.
Sad you didn't put it 2.
I know. Dune 2. And then 2, Civil War. And 1, Red Room. So.
Yeah. So those are lists. Obviously,
Yeah.
we have not seen everything this year.
Yeah, well, there's a Bob Dylan movie that's
Yeah.
it's not come out. at this point.
We're filming this before Nosferatu.
Yeah.
But also, I've just been watching a lot of older stuff. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think there's value in the earlier part of the year,
Yeah.
watching older stuff.
Yeah.
And then as the year goes on, catch
Start
up
filling
really
in,
fast.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just nice to, take a break too.
Just
you know?
like movies, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our list. And I'm tearing it up because you can't see it anymore. And I'm going to throw it at the camera.
I'm gonna do this. Save mine.
Oh, there you go. Now I got to pick all those up.
Yeah, that's my area.
Oh, it's your area. You pick them up.